Good Tuesday morning, and thank you for joining us on Kare 11 News Now. I'm Jason Hackett. Let's get to your headlines. This morning, police are investigating two shootings from overnight. One happening late last night near East 19th Street and 1st Avenue South. Another just north of that location on Oliver Avenue North. Now, this is the same area as two mass shootings from Sunday that sent 14 people to the hospital. Audrey Russo has the very latest.
This is information that we got from Minneapolis police. Now, they tell us that two people were shot overnight. Two shootings happened a couple of miles apart and within 15 minutes of each other. Now, we know that in both of these situations, one person was sent to the hospital, but both victims are expected to survive. So let's talk about this one first. We have video of this. This one happened around 10 o'clock last night on East 19th Street and Nicollet. Now, you may remember this is the same location as Sunday night's mass shooting that ended up being deadly. Well, in this particular incident last night, Minneapolis police tell us it began when a 23-year-old man was shot while walking in an alleyway. Now, the sidewalk our crews could see was littered with dozens of shell casings and evidence tags, at least a half dozen or so. Now, police tell us that they had a description of a suspect, and about 45 minutes later, they found somebody who matched that description. Police say when they tried to approach that person, the individual matching the description of the suspect ended up running away, jumping a fence, heading towards the highway, which led to a search of nearby I-94. However, MPD says they lost sight of that person and there have been no arrests in this case. Now, just a couple of miles away on Oliver Avenue North, we also learned there was a shooting. This one, MPD tells us, involved one person standing outside of a house who ended up being approached by two suspects who shot him. That victim ran into a house and called 911. Again, that person was brought to the hospital and is expected to survive. No arrests in that case either. Back to you.
Audrey, thank you very much. We're also expecting new information this morning about a shooting in St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, leaving 3 people dead. Police say a person of interest turned themselves in just hours ago. They tell us the shooting happened inside an apartment leasing office just 5 minutes from the airport. The chief would only confirm one victim is likely an employee, but it's unclear if the others are residents. Dozens of people were evacuated and the area was shut down for hours. People living there now in shock.
This is so shocking to find out, because why? What would possess someone to do something like that? Why would you take somebody's life? These people woke up this morning not even knowing this was going to be their last day.
Now, the chief is calling the shooting a big tragedy for the city. He says this is now the 11th killing of the year. Right now, 3 new fires are burning in the Boundary Waters. Officials say lightning strikes Sunday night sparked the flames, but they're already 50% contained. Crews tell us rain is helping slow down the fire's growth, but they need plenty more of it to improve the dry conditions that are fueling them. So far, the fires up north have burned more than 77,000 acres. In a new threat, President Trump says Iran will pay many times over for every American service member killed. NBC's Alice Barr has the very latest from Washington.
This morning, we're seeing the faces of 2 American soldiers killed in an Iranian strike on a base in Jordan. 25-year-old First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan from Hawaii, where flags are at half-staff, and 19-year-old Private Isabella Gonzalez from Texas, where veterans in her hometown American Legion post are honoring her.
She signed up for it, and she was willing to die for her country. And she did.
President Trump is promising revenge, writing every time Iran kills an American soldier, they will pay for that killing many times over. And overnight, U.S. forces launched a 10th straight night of attacks against Iran. While this alert and video from the base where the fallen soldiers were serving shows missiles intercepted and explosions, it's not clear whether these are the fatal strikes from Friday. But U.S. Central Command said a 3rd service member was reported missing, and it is working to identify remains found at the site. While after Iranian strikes in northern Iraq, CENTCOM said another American service member was killed during the controlled detonation of an Iranian drone. Democrats in Congress are promising to press for answers about the war's costs in damage to American facilities.
And the loss of life and the injuries to the men and women of our armed forces, but more importantly, where are we headed?
A senior administration official told NBC News the war has reached a time of ambiguity, with the ceasefire collapsed. Both sides are signaling a willingness to negotiate, even as military strikes ramp up, and President Trump weighs his options under mounting pressure. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
It is day 2 of the trial for the woman caught on camera calling a black child a racial slur in Rochester last year. Shiloh Hendricks is facing 2 disorderly conduct charges. Her attorney says this is about freedom of speech. The viral video showed a man confronting Hendricks after she accused the 5-year-old child of stealing from her toddler's diaper bag while repeating the slur. It's unclear if Hendricks will take the witness stand. This morning, a taxi and rideshare driver is facing several charges after his DNA was linked to 2 different sexual assaults a decade apart. 46-year-old Angel Fernandez Morocho is now in jail. The charges stem from 2 different incidents, one in Minneapolis in 2012, the other in Golden Valley in 2022. In each case, the female victim said they fell asleep in the backseat of his car and woke up to him sexually assaulting them. DNA connected the 2 cases in 2023, but didn't link them to a suspect until recently, when the Hennepin County Attorney's Office reopened the cases as part of an effort to clear a backlog of sexual assault kits. Tonight, Ramsey County Sheriff Bob Fletcher is holding a community meeting to address gang concerns in the Somali community. This comes after Fletcher was condemned for comments he made about the community on a recent live stream. Local Somali leaders say his comments should have been a private conversation rather than a public live stream. Fletcher says he wants everyone to be involved in the conversation tonight starting at 6. An update this morning out of St. Louis Park. Property management for the Helix apartment complex say they're back in control of the building days after a devastating fire. St. Louis Park officials say 90 apartments were destroyed on the complex's west side. Apartments on the east side suffered smoke damage. Now residents are looking to what's next. Community groups and neighbors are stepping up to help here. Many saying residents need financial donations as they look to rebuild. One man says even though he hasn't been able to go back into his home, he's grateful for everyone who's helped.
You know, even while the apartment was on fire, to be able to see people with coolers and wagons or just an armful of a case of water going out saying, hey, I live down the street, what do you need? That's been incredible to see in this community.
If you want to help, an emergency donation center is set up by the building near the intersection of Walker and 37th Street. They're gathering water, snacks, hygiene products, clothes, and baby supplies. Also, if you'd like to make a financial contribution, check in with the St. Louis Park Emergency Program. Well, today's the day, Minnesota. If you haven't registered to vote in next month's primary, you have until tonight to sign up. Officials say registering in advance can help you save time on Election Day. You can sign up online or at your local elections office. Also today, Minneapolis will begin testing its voting machines to get ready for that primary. Officials say they want to demonstrate the accuracy of the city's computer program, voting equipment, and ballots. You can watch them test it live on the City of Minneapolis's YouTube page. Speed cameras are coming soon to 2 road construction sites in Minnesota. It's part of a MnDOT pilot program. The agency is testing the cameras on 35W in Burnsville and on Highway 65 in Brom. They'll be installed later this summer, according to MnDOT. The cameras will catch drivers going 10 over the speed limit and send a warning letter. Fines and citations won't be issued for now, but the leaders say they hope the cameras remind drivers to slow down.
These work zones aren't just another stretch of highway. They're active workplaces where people are building safer roads for all of us. They're also places where driving can change in an instant.
Now, the pilot project will be in place until at least 2028. MnDOT has already received approval to add cameras at 2 other construction sites to gather more data for this project. Someone is now holding on to a record $34.12 million Minnesota Lotto jackpot. The ticket is from the July 18th Lotto America drawing and was sold at a holiday station in Coon Rapids. If the winner chooses the cash option, they can walk away with more than $15 million. That's a pretty good haul. And that's not the only good news here. Another local player won a $20,000 prize by matching the first 5 numbers in the drawing. So check those tickets. See if you won. Trending this morning, McDonald's is rolling out a sweet new breakfast item. The fast food chain announced today it will serve a new honey brown butter bacon and egg cheese biscuits. You can grab that at the drive-thru on your way to work today. And I have to say, I did try it with the honey butter on it, the brown butter. Needed more brown butter. Not quite enough, but still flavorful. Make sure you stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.